Welcome to Gaming Rarities. I'm Dan. Thank you so much for clicking and for watching. I hope you're doing okay. And today we have another episode of the CEX Rarities review. In case you're new around here, on this series we go to 2 CEX stores, we go through the door, we check out the retro section, we have a look on the shelves, see if they've got any steelbooks or sleeve covers or anything like that for the regular price. We then ask behind the counter, see if they've got any more, and then we give them a score out of 10. The scores are based on store cleanliness, staff helpfulness, and general aura. Stay tuned till the end because you'll see where these 2 new stores square up against the rest of the stores I've visited so far. And in case you wanted to catch up and you've ever missed an episode, down below in the description you'll find a playlist for all the episodes so far, plus playlists for the PS2 cardboard collection, the PS3 Steelbook saga, and there's about 130 odd CEX roulettes in the shorts, all playlists down below. And we are getting scarily close to 1,000 subscribers, and when I get there, if I haven't already, there will be a giveaway. I've just finished putting together the stuff I'm going to give away, and it's a pretty cool box. You're not going to want to miss that. So if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. You're going to want to be a part of this giveaway, trust me. It's a box of rarities that you're going to want, so be sure to do it if you're not already. So which 2 stores are we hitting today? We are going to Tonbridge and we are going to Bournemouth Castlepoint. Up first is going to be Tonbridge. Let's have a look and see what they had. So the Tonbridge CEX store is on the High Street in Tonbridge. Not much in the window going on. There's a Castlevania on the PS2. Also, they've got a GTA 5 on the PS3. I don't really know if that's window worthy, but let's head in and look for the retro. Now, honestly, it took me a minute to try and find the retro in here. I was looking in all the glass counters and I couldn't see it until I turned around and found these kind of glass cabinets in the middle of the store. I've not really seen that before in any shop I've been in. But let's have a look in those. There are quite a few of your loose carts that you normally see and a few handhelds there. We've got some Xbox 360 rarities. Then we've got some more boxed Nintendo, the PS1 stuff, some other bits. Nothing too major in the retro section in here that I could see. Let's head over to the shelves. In the PS4 section, we've got the usual kind of Tomb Raiders that we see in most stores with the cardboard and a Formula 1 sleeve as well. And you tell me if you've ever seen a deal before in a CEX store. I have never seen this before. A Skylanders deal. You save some money if you buy a few. Never seen a deal like that before. Let me know if you have. And that was the Tonbridge store. There really wasn't too much on the shelves there at all. Just a couple of those PS4 bits. They did, however, have a couple of bits behind the counter. When I asked, you could see a few bits. They did have a few steelbooks. I didn't get them on camera, but they were either priced at the regular price or in terrible condition. They had a Formula 1 one, I think, and it was awful. You know the grey kind of metal ones where all the metal's coming off, flecked off. It was that situation, so I left that behind. I did pick up one thing, and that one thing was The Last of Us Part 2, the steelbook. So looking back, this probably wasn't the best of deals when you look it up on eBay. It's pretty similar price anyway. Maybe they're slightly too overpriced for the basic game on its own. But for the normal game price, £22, I got the steelbook and I am happy with that. I do already own this, actually. I didn't know at the time, but I do already own it. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this, to be honest. Might put it on my Vinted. There's a link to my Vinted in the description as well. So if you want it for what I paid for it, as I always do, if you see them on these videos and you see I paid 22, I'm more than happy to pass that on to you guys if you want it. So yeah, that'll probably end up on my Vintage shortly. So editing down here, I'm filming some kind of overlay and there's no discs in this. So yeah, not good. I'll have to message the store, I guess. But that was the Tonbridge store. Let's give them a rating out of 10. So the store cleanliness, fine. I went in there very early on a Sunday morning. They'd just opened at like 10 o'clock, so it was clean. There was nothing out of place. It was all very pleasant in there. A couple of members of staff. The girl I got was very helpful when it comes to looking at the steelbooks. She just kind of got them all out and was, yeah, all good there. General aura, no problems there at all. Out of 10, I'm going to give the Tonbridge store an 8 out of 10. Future editing down here, I'm going to drop their score from an 8 down to a 7.5 because of the no disc scenario. Obviously, it's an issue. Side note, I have messaged CEX about the no discs, and their response was to swing by with the receipt, but I live like 150 odd miles away, so I'm not going to be doing that. So we'll see what they say about that. Hopefully they'll send them to me, but yeah, 7.5, not 8, just so you know. So let's go a bit further down towards the south coast and hit Bournemouth. Bournemouth's got a few stores. I did go to them all, but this time we're going to look at Castlepoint. Now this CEX has a very strange shape to it on the outside. It's kind of on a shopping park type place, and it was raining, but yeah, outside window, not much apart from a few bits for the Nintendo Switch. Looking inside, it's your kind of long and thin usual setup really. It did have a kind of a bend at the end, which you don't see too often. It was a strange shape, this one. Let's look at the retro. So we've got some boxed Pokemon in there to start with, your loose carts. There's the Sega Saturn stuff and the PS1 games. A few collector's editions in the window there, and some big hitters on the Xbox 360. Let's go and have a look at the shelves. Let's start with Monster Hunter World Iceborne on the Xbox. Pretty cool, not seen this one before. They did have one of the Lego sleeves in here too. We've got a Rainbow Six Siege steelbook, one I do see quite often. And here is the most popular steelbook you see in pretty much every store ever. There's Hitman, and this store had 3 of them. Also, this store had so many reprinted covers. I've never seen so many before, all in the big cases as well, even if it was a Blu-ray case, or just in a DVD case. Wasn't a huge fan of that. They did, however, have this Black Ops 2 on the Xbox 360 steelbook here for the regular price. Over to the PS2 section, they had the Ico and the cardboard. They also had the normal version. I swear you see the cardboard more often than the normal version. One of those that you don't see too often. And when I went up to the counter, I did manage to find this Middle-earth Shadow of War steelbook for the PS4 as well. So that was Bournemouth Castlepoint. Yeah, very strange looking store from the outside. Kind of had this CEX kind of plinth on the top there. Not seen anything like that before, so that was interesting. Was chucking it down when I was outside, so I didn't hang about for too long out there. This store it probably had the largest amount of just games that I've seen in a store so far. There was just loads and loads of games, but it was all the same type of game. Like, they must have had, 50 copies of each FIFA. It was just rammed with games all along the shelf, but nothing spectacular really. I did find a couple of bits in there, as you would have seen. I did pick a few bits up. So I did pick up the Rainbow Six Siege that you saw in the footage, just £2.50. The steelbook itself is actually in very good condition, although it is missing that outer sleeve. I'm sure I've got a couple of copies of this. I'll have to have a look and see what I've got, but I can probably mix and match a really good steelbook all together. Frankenstein one together with a disc from one and a sleeve from another. So yeah, another Rainbow Six Siege. Also grabbed this Black Ops 2 for the Xbox 360. No sleeve. Again, I think it should have a sleeve, but again, for the £8, which is quite expensive really, but I had to pick it up really. Just a steelbook that you don't see too often. I have seen a lot of Call of Duty ones, but Black Ops 2 is probably one of the best Call of Duties, right? It does play backwards compatible on your Xbox One or Series X if you've got one. So yeah, not a bad one to have, I guess, and I do enjoy it myself personally. It's probably one of my favourites. And at the till, as I said, we got a Middle-earth Shadow of War Gold Edition steelbook. Yeah, in pretty good condition, this one. Very good, in fact. And then there's a few of these Shadow of War steelbooks, but I don't have any as of yet. So to pick this one up for the normal price, was never going to leave it behind. And yeah, in excellent condition. So really happy with this one. So let's give Bournemouth Castlepoint a score out of 10. I'm going to show you some more footage of inside the store because I have never seen so much mess on the shop floor when it comes to games just kind of, or DVDs thrown about all over the place. There was a big pile. I know that they may not have had anywhere else to put this stuff. It's not necessarily their fault what they get traded in, or I know sometimes stores send each other stuff. I don't know what the deal is here, but it wasn't very pleasant to see. I did have a route through this pile as well, see if there was anything good, because there was games and DVDs all mixed up together. but no more steel or sleeves or anything like that I could find in there. But still, it's just off-putting for a customer, I think, to see that. It's not pleasant. Also, the staff member I had, he was a lovely guy, very chatty, very nice, but it did take him ages to find the discs. Again, potentially not his fault, potentially a cataloguing issue, the store in general. But yeah, way too long. A good kind of 10 minutes to just find discs. You saw what I got. Way too long, really, I think. So that being said, the general aura of the store was not great. I didn't overly enjoy being in there. Again, it was all the reprinted covers, all the masses and masses of games which you'd like to see, but all the same game, like hundreds of FIFAs the same. It's just, I don't know, it was off-putting to me. The stuff in the corner, not pleasant. Staff was okay, but again, took ages to find the disc. Store cleanliness, not the best. So I'm going to give Bournemouth Castlepoint a 6 out of 10. And here we see where those two stores square up against the rest. And that's it for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to be part of that 1,000 subscriber giveaway that's coming. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.